Welcome into another In the Money podcast, and this one's for Thursday, the next to last day of the Keeneland Spring Meet. Tom Leach, along with Keeneland's Director of Simulcasting, Jim Goodman. We're going to take a look at the Grade 3 Bewitch Stakes for fillies and mares going 1.5 miles on the turf as part of the late pick 4, which we'll also give you some thoughts on. Jim, I thought this was a really tough handicapping challenge in the Bewitch. Got a full field and several worthy candidates. Where did you land?
Well, I landed on the horse of the back class that ran second in the Breeders' Cup filly and mare turf last year, Romantica. Belmont, Joel Rosario only got beat half a length to Dank, and Dank was a huge favorite in that race. So I think Romantica is a class of the race. She hadn't been out since November 2nd, so she may need a race. But I think she's going to be a deserving favorite in here. The other horses I used, Inimitable Romania. I never can say inimitable. I have a hard time with that word. And then Egg Marine and Viva Raffaella, the 6, 11, 12. So I would key Romantica the 9 with the 6, 11, 12 with all in the trifecta.
You know, if Romantica's at her best, then I think there's a drop-off from her to everybody else. Bill Mott's barn's been kind of cold. We saw Emollient lose in the stake last Friday. So I'm going to take a stand against her for that reason. May regret it. And I'm going to go Caroline Thomas in here. Her best race was here in the QE2 last fall. The horse had trouble in the March 29th race last time out down at Gulfstream. Rocco's riding really well. Barclay Tagg seems to spot his horses well for these marathon races in the spring and the fall. So I'm going to take a shot with Caroline Thomas for a little value. I'm going to use Ag Marine, the 11, the 8 Angel Terrace, the 6 Viva Raffaella, and the 2 Left a Message. And then in the horizontal wagers, I'd have to throw in Romantica as well, just because she could be ready to go, and if she is, certainly would be really hard to beat. So I'll use all of those horses I just mentioned in the pick 4. But let's get to the pick 4 now. It starts in race 6, and I started with 2 horses here. I like Can't Help Believing and Scoria for Motion and Clement, respectively. I picked Can't Help Believing for the website, but it's really kind of a toss-up between those 2 for me. So I'll use both of them in the pick 4. In the next leg, started to single Bellarmine. I think McPeak's he's number 1 trying to win the training title, and he's got a horse that just loves this poly track, so just going to wheel him back on short rest, striking while the iron's hot. I'm going to use Patriotic and Proud for a little bit of a price as well for Cassie, who's battling for that training title. Then I'm going to use all 6 of the horses I mentioned in the Bewitch, and then I'm going to use Format V, the 9, the 12 Bergman, and the 8 Exultant in the last race. If you want to cut that down a little bit, leave out Exultant and just use the 9 and the 12 for the late pick 4. That's my ticket. What about you?
Well, if you put our tickets together, it might cost $1,000. I'm going to use all where you almost singled. The first leg, Can't Help Believing is the best bet of the day for me. I would single that horse, except for the fact that when I looked at this race, I thought Proud Azteca for Mike Maker had a shot here. So I'm going to do the 1 and the 9 in the first leg. I'm going to take all in the second leg. I'm going to single Romantica in the feature race, the 9, and then I'm going to take the 3, 8, 9, 12 in the last race. And that would be Portraiture, Exultant, can't remember.
Format V and Bergman.
Format V is the 9 horse, and then Bergman is the 12. Yeah. So 1, 9 with all, with 9 with 3, 8, 9, 12. That's $48.
Mine's 2 by 2 by 6 by 3. So that would be 36 for a 50-cent ticket. And again, if you want to trim that down, leave out the 8 horse out of the last leg. But some great betting cards here on these last few days of the racing meet. And racing will shift to Churchill Downs, of course, on Saturday. But we have one more day to talk about, and that's the Friday card at Keeneland, which we'll do in our next edition of the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.